All right, everybody, welcome back to episode 6 of Related to the Game. As always, Ben here with Prasan, and we are excited to bring you another episode. Today, we are going to get into some NBA, some NFL free agency and trades and such, and then a good chunk of college basketball, and we'll each give a lock of the week at the end as well. So, should be a good episode. Looking forward to it. How are you doing, Prasan?
Doing well. I'm in the college basketball spirit. I'm ready to rock and roll. Best time of year.
Well, before we get to that, let's go a little NBA here. Anything you want to start us off with talking about?
I think today a little bit we should talk about some potential MVP caliber candidates and what that looks like. And before we get into that, just a little bit of notes, I guess. One of my favorite players in the NBA this year, Con Kneppel. He is been fun to watch. He just broke the rookie 3-point record, and I mean, it's only been 50 or so, 59, 60 games, and there's a lot of season left there still. So I shouldn't say a lot, but a month or a little more than a month left, and he already broke the record. So he's been playing well. He's shooting 44% from three this year. I like him a lot. I think he's a Wisconsin kid too. So
You bet.
From the home state. So yeah, I think that's exciting for him and been fun to watch.
Yeah, he's a fun player to watch. When he was in high school, I remember watching. I didn't go, but watching him play in state championship on TV. He's been quite the player. And crazy thing, he's got like, I don't know, 4 or 5 little brothers coming up the pipeline too. And word on the street is his little brothers are on pace to be better than him. So
Oh wow,
might be a whole bunch of Knippels playing in the NBA before you know it. Watch out.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't know he had that big of a pipeline of family that was coming up. So if they're better than him, that's crazy. The NBA is gonna have to watch out. They'll be the next Antetokounmpo brothers and
The Ball brothers
family. Yeah, the Ball brothers. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a great player. I remember being pretty bummed when he was going to Duke instead of Wisconsin, but I mean, can't blame the guy. It was the right choice. It worked out for him. So
Yeah. The Hornets in general for they're under 500 barely. They're just about 500. 10th in the East, so they're in the play-in tournament right now, and huge turnaround for them. They were, I mean, I think last year, what they win, like 14 games last year, maybe. Yeah, they were big turnaround for them.
yeah, and I think I saw something. They went on a win streak there for a while, like 10-something wins or so, and it was kind of like, hey, when this team actually has all their players healthy and playing, they're a solid team. Could make some noise in the play-in and give somebody fits in the first round if they make it there.
Spurs are on a win streak too, or they were. I think they lost yesterday, the day before as well, but they were on a win streak also. And it seems to be a year of streaks. Teams just get hot and get rolling.
Mm-hmm.
On the other side of that, the Bulls were on a losing streak, and then they scored like 30 points in a row and beat the Bucks. So that was yesterday. So they had lost, I think, 10 or 11 in a row, and then the Bucks were up 25, 30 points, and the Bulls just came back and scored, I think it was like 28 points in a row and beat the Bucks. So tough yesterday.
I saw a headline, Giannis is playing right now as we speak. At least I saw before the game that he was going to be playing today. I haven't watched any.
Yeah, he's playing. Go ahead.
The Bucks are currently losing 65-83 as I'm recording this, so not necessarily making a winning impact if he's been playing many minutes. I don't know what he's been doing, but
yeah, he was on a minutes restriction today, so who knows what that means and how many minutes he is playing. But I also saw before we hopped on here that they're losing today. So the question's going to be is can he lift them to the playoffs or to a play-in? Right now they're 11th seed, one game out of the play-in, but there's a long ways to go. But with how they, choked the game away yesterday, losing today, I don't know. It's really, really
Hmm.
tough to say.
Yeah, it's going to be a grind for them to make it there, and then to make any noise in the playoffs is a whole nother story. Can't even get there. Can't even talk about that before they actually prove that they can get there. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, we'll see with them. But I guess while we're talking about hot teams and not hot teams, one stat I always look at every NBA season is the old Phil Jackson 40-20 rule. Are you familiar with that?
I am familiar.
Yep. So we're just far enough into the season where we can make our list here. There's 3 teams that officially qualify as champion contenders, with a fourth one that I think kind of does, but I think officially doesn't. So the Thunder, the Spurs, and the Pistons are the 3 that made it to 40 wins before 20 losses. And then the Celtics made it to 40 and 20, but they got their 20th loss before they got their 40th win. So I think technically they don't qualify.
They don't
But
qualify.
but yeah, it's those are the teams, and that rule, I think it was 18 of the last 19 seasons is held true. The one outlier was the Bucks in 2021. So I
Maybe they'll do
guess
it again. Probably not. Uh,
yeah, that would be something.
so list those 3 teams off again. I know you said the Pistons were the other 2.
Spurs and Thunder.
Okay. So
So the MVP
good,
candidates.
good time to go into that because 3 of my 5 notes here are on those teams. So we've got SGA, obviously on the Thunder there, 32 points, call it. He's averaging a game. They're first in the West. You've got Cade Cunningham, 25 points, 5 and 9, first in the East. You've got Wemby, 23 points, 11 rebounds, and almost 3 blocks. So I think those obviously are the superstars on those 3 teams you listed. So, obviously MVP candidates, and it sounds like they're, based on the past performance, could be future championship contenders. 2 people to kind of throw into that, and not necessarily in those qualifications, but Jokic, obviously, almost 30 points a game. He's averaging a triple-double this year. And then Luka Doncic, 33 points, 7 and 8. So really good, really, really good MVP candidates this year. They're all contributing to their team. I think what's always interesting, and I don't know that I love this, but one of the really, really good teams in that is contending for a championship, first in the West, first in the East, like they're probably going to have the MVP. But you look at someone like Jokic, you look at someone like Doncic that do deserve it, but their teams just aren't as good, and struggling a little bit.
Yeah. I saw a thing, maybe it was a week or 2 ago now, kind of listing off, I think it was those 5 players, maybe 1 or 2 others. And with the NBA awards now, there's the games played qualification requirement. I
Yeah,
think it's like 65 games or something like that.
sure.
And I think Cade Cunningham was the only one that was actually on pace to play that many games. Or maybe SGA was right on the line,
Close,
but
sure.
other guys were not on pace, or they have to play like every single game the rest of the way. So
Yeah,
that'll be something to keep an
that's
eye
it.
on too. That it seems, I get it why they put that in there, because you had Kawhi playing 40 some games by choice, then
Yeah,
all the load management stuff that he kind of started. But
yeah.
it's kind of unfortunate if you end up with, worst case scenario, all of a sudden all your top players on your top teams don't play enough games, and then you're just giving the MVP to someone less deserving.
Well, you got to figure out, the NBA's got to figure out, and this might be a way that they've done it a little bit, but like people are taking so much time off, so much time for, load management. And you either got to like shorten the season, or players got to figure something else out of how they're going to play more, because, you know, yeah, I mean, you want to make sure you're contending for these awards and things like that. It's, you know, bad product for the fans of, you know, all of a sudden you pay to go see the Bucks and the Thunder play a game, and the Thunder have all their stars out and Giannis isn't playing, and then it's like, well, you know, it's just bad product overall. So something's
Mm-hmm.
got to be figured out there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I kind of like the idea of a shorter season, but I don't
Mm-hmm.
think they'll ever do that because of money
No.
reasons. If anything, they're gonna be like the NFL and try to add games to make more money. So
Yeah.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they can find a decent solution to that. But yeah, I guess for now, I mean, I just really am impressed with Cade Cunningham this year. He's he's just balling out. I love his attitude out there, and he's got that Pistons team playing well, and I just think the Pistons are kind of a fun team. It's fun. It's fun when the Pistons are good. I feel like they're just kind of they've got that attitude to them.
Yeah, and he's leveled up since last year. I mean, he played well last year too, but it's just different level, and they've got some other playmakers there too that are doing a good job, and he's able to facilitate more. It's hard being like the one guy. I mean, look at the Bucks are a great example. I mean, look, Giannis is the one guy there. He got hurt. They've been doing terrible, and even when he's back, I mean, you can't win every game just on him, and that's how Cade Cunningham was last year. Is it was kind of like, hey, it's just him. And they were winning games and playing well, but now he's got some people around him, and he's facilitating better and playing better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess if you had to pick right now, who do you think who'd be in the finals?
Oh boy. Um, I like the Thunder in the finals. I think they're gonna make it there from the West. I like the Pistons. I think so. I guess I'm taking the two favorites here, but like the two first place teams right now. But I like the Pistons. I like how they've been playing. The Thunder seem unstoppable. Um, I could see the Spurs potentially in there also, but I think in general it'll be Pistons and Thunder. What about
Yeah,
you?
I'm gonna be boring with you too. Though it just kind of feels like those I guess those top three teams are on a different level, and
Mm-hmm.
I guess I think the Thunder are on a different level than the Spurs as well. So
Yeah.
not to be boring, but it they're the favorites for a reason because they're
Yeah,
just
and it
the
feels
best.
like a year that like it'll be the favorites. Kind of different than what we have been talking about in the NFL, where it kind of felt like it was wide open all year and wide open in the playoffs. This feels like it's very top heavy, where we've got three or four really good teams, and then everyone else is just like a step below them.
Yeah, I agree. um, I got a note here, changing gears a little bit to the bottom of the standings. Um, kind of an interesting situation for the Pacers. So they're doing a great job tanking this year. I think they're sitting at like 13 wins or something. Um, that's just one team I could see next year with Tyrese Halliburton coming back, should be fully healthy, ready to go, and potentially a potentially first overall pick or top three pick. They could have a real difference maker added to that team, and just currently 1 year removed from the finals. I'd be interested to see what they can do to bounce back next year.
Well, first of all, as a Bucks fan, good. I'm glad they're bad this year.
Yeah.
Um, I'm glad they're bad this year. That's warms my heart. Um, I think, yeah, with Halliburton coming back, I mean, who knows? Everything will be different next year, obviously, with him back. I know Miles Turner's been kind of like off for the Bucks and not what the Bucks expected there, but losing Miles Turner for the Pacers was big. With losing him and Halliburton were big. Miles Turner played really, really well there. And so, yeah, I mean, this year they are doing a good job tanking, and without Halliburton, it's kind of, you know, this is just I think they embraced it, and that's just what the year was going to be for them. But yeah, coming back next year with him and like you said, a really good pick in the draft, they should be in good shape. I think they'll be much better next year.
Mm-hmm. I guess, do you have any other teams or players you want to hit on in the NBA before we move on to the NFL?
No, I think we move on to NFL free agency and big trade that happened today. I just a big trade, but big name trade.
Yep. A breakup of a dynamic duo. David Montgomery
Yeah.
no longer with Jameer Gibbs. What do you think of it?
It's well, I guess we'll go back to yesterday. The news kind of broke that Montgomery was wanting the team to find a trade for him, and then he posted on social media that that was all a rumor and that wasn't true. And then all of a sudden today they traded him. So who
Yeah.
knows if there's any truth behind any of that or where that kind of came from. But yeah, so he got traded to the Texans. I you know, his role in Detroit was a really interesting this year. In years past, I thought they did it well and kind of split time enough, which was somewhat infuriating to people, especially people that played fantasy football or people that were, betting on the game because they never knew like, hey, is Jameer Gibbs going to get most of the touches today? Is David Montgomery going to get most of the touches today? What's going to happen here? But this year it was interesting because it just felt like, especially as the year went on, Montgomery really didn't touch the ball that much. There were games towards the end of the year he had 3, 4, 5 carries and maybe a catch or two, and it just didn't feel like they were using him as well. So for the Lions, I think it's a fine trade. They needed to boost their offensive line, and so I think that was a good trade for them. And I don't think it's a huge loss. Montgomery's a good player, but I think Gibbs is obviously a superstar. And I think you can replace Montgomery in the draft with, or even free agency, with someone of equal-ish talent, especially if you're going to use Gibbs as your featured back, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's good there. On the Texans side, I'm a little confused. I think it's a good backup to have. I don't know if Montgomery's going to want to be that kind of backup role again. They've got Woody Marks there, obviously. What's his name? Joe Mixon may not play football again. So that I think is a reason to bring him there, bring Montgomery there. You've got Nick Chubb. Is he there next year still too, or is he a free agent?
I honestly don't know.
I think he's there still one more year. So
Okay.
if that's the case, I mean, we've got 3 running backs there. Plus they have the rookie that they played a little bit this year. So it feels like a full running back room there. And I just don't know, he'll play, but I just feel like it wasn't a necessary trade for them. But, we'll see obviously how that plays out.
Yeah. Was that O lineman they traded a backup or a starter? Do you know?
I believe he was a backup for them.
Okay, that's what I kind of figured. Just a starter caliber offensive lineman I thought would be worth more.
Yeah.
But for a team that did not have a great offensive line, trading away an offensive lineman for a running back didn't seem to make a ton of sense to me.
Hmm.
But if they didn't, if he wasn't that good for them anyways, I guess it kind of makes sense for them to get another good running back in there. But yeah, for the Detroit, I just think it makes sense. I think what it came down to is their coaching staff came to the realization that Jameer Gibbs is so much better than David Montgomery that we're taking away opportunities for big plays
Yeah.
and scoring by taking Jameer Gibbs off the field. So they weren't using David Montgomery as much anymore because they didn't want to, and so it made sense for them to get rid of him while he was worth something. And yeah, just put Jameer Gibbs on the field all the time, and just get another guy in there good enough to just get Jameer Gibbs a little rest to keep his legs fresh, and other than that, just let Gibbs go crazy out there because yeah, he's a elite talent, premier running back in the league. So Makes sense for
He's
them.
going to be, Gibbs is going to be a workhorse next year. I mean, they're going to use him a lot. Clearly, that's what this trade is saying. And I think they did too, again, like I said, towards the end of the year this year, but they're going to use him a lot. And like you said, I think you can get really any kind of body in there that can run the ball. I mean, you're going to use him 3-4 times a game, maybe, and Gibbs is going to have the rest of the work. So, yeah, I think,
Yeah,
yeah,
maybe
like you
get
said, it
someone
made a
in
lot
there
of
that's
sense.
good at pass pro or something too.
Yeah.
Just the kind of a guy that can take some of the load off Jahmyr Gibbs. That
Yeah.
is kind of more of the dirty work that you don't need him for. So yeah, I guess another trade that I wanted to talk about was Devondre Sweat from the Titans getting traded to the
Mm.
Jets. Um, I was pretty bummed because that was a guy that I was secretly hoping the Packers would trade for, because that dude is just a unit, and we could use a unit in the middle of our defensive line. So yeah, he went to the Jets for I forget his name, edge rusher that they drafted a couple years ago, first rounder, I believe. So I don't know what it would have taken for the Packers to get him. Probably not realistic, just dreaming. But yeah, I think makes sense for both teams on that one, just with the scheme and what they need. And too bad the Packers didn't get in on that one from my side of things. But
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we've got free agency coming up here soon that will always be some sort of spark, and there's going to be, people moving around and different teams filling needs. So Packers might find something that way. And then obviously at the end of the month or end of April, we've got the NFL draft. So in Pittsburgh this year. So I don't think I'll be going this year, but
nope, not this year.
not this year. But yeah, but should be a good kind of month or two here of just players moving around that we'll be able to kind of follow up on and see where people land and who people draft.
Yeah, I feel like this year's free agency class and draft class are similar in the sense that
Mm.
people are kind of just like looking at the top 5 names in either free agency or the draft class and saying, "Oh, this class is pretty weak." But if you look down the list, there's depth in a lot of areas. In free agency, there's a whole lot of um, veterans that still have some juice left that are getting cut for salary cap reasons. And yeah, in the draft too, I saw this year for 40-yard dash times by each position group, it was the fastest ever, except for one group. It
I
was
saw
the
that
second
too.
fastest ever. So there's just
Yeah.
there's a lot of really good athletes out there in the draft. And like I said, yeah, free agency. I mean, there's some decently big names out there that are going to be available. A lot more of them are going to be kind of the veteran 1 or 2 year deal. Bring them
Hmm.
in. So as a Packers fan, that's one the Packers usually don't do. They want to get guys that are 26, 27 years old and put them on a 4 year contract. But yeah, I think there's the majority of people are kind of sleeping on the amount of talent that's out there to be got for their team, whether through the draft or free agency this year.
I think in both cases this year, you look at the top few names and there's a couple there that you kind of jump out at you and okay, that's a good pick or, good signing, whatever it might be. And then it kind of drops off a little bit and you've got kind of that weird middle window where there's maybe names that you're not super excited about, maybe good positions to fill, but also at the same time, nothing that's like going to wow you. And then you get to the depth, right? So I think this might be a year where you don't necessarily draft, considering about the draft, a year you don't want to necessarily be pick 7, 8, 9, or 10, but you might want to be actually a little bit further back. And there might be picks at, 15 through 20 or 20, 25 that might jump out at you a little bit more and kind of have a little bit more depth there for you. So I think overall, it's not like a studded draft class or free agent market, but I think there's definitely opportunity and hidden gems there for people.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see for the draft on draft day what kind of trades go down, because
I think there'll be, yeah.
I could see there being a lot of teams that are willing to trade down because they'd rather have a couple picks later than one pick right now. but I'm curious to
Right.
see if there's enough teams on the other end of it that have a guy that
Are
they really
willing.
love that are willing
Hmm.
to jump up and pay the price to get him. So should be a
Yeah,
fun one to see play out, and I do think there'll be some fun trades
I
during
agree.
the
I think it'll
draft.
be a big
So
year for trades. It'll be a big year for trades, and yeah, to your point, there'll be some considerations there too. I think there'll be a lot more trades proposed than what we see actually happen. I'm sure there always are, but maybe a
yeah.
little more this year than in the past.
Mm-hmm. All right. Do you have any other NFL
No, we can
notes?
jump to college basketball.
All right. Um, I guess
Happy
I'll
March.
happy March. What a time.
Happy March. What a great month. What a
It
great month.
is it is my second favorite month. September's my favorite. Football's back. The weather's perfect. But March is number 2. It's got my birthday. It's got all the college basketball, all you could want. Conference tournaments are getting started right now, all the way up to Selection Sunday, March Madness. Weather's getting nicer, daylight savings, sun stays out later. Just a great
It's a great
time.
month. Just
I'm
great
fired
month.
up.
Can't
I'm
go
fired up.
wrong.
Um, yeah, so I guess in the world of basketball, you're rocking the Michigan sweatshirt, feeling good about them headed into the last week of conference play here.
I'm feeling so good that I'm like I've made the commitment. I am going to the Sweet 16. They should be in Chicago. I feel really confident about that one. I mean, they're gonna, you would think, win the first and second round, and I feel good about second weekend play, seeing them in Chicago, being the Midwest 1 seed. They are, I think I looked the other day, it's like a 99.7 chance that they're in that bracket and region. So they get a lot of choice in that being the 1 seed. So feel good with that. And then, yeah, if they win those, I'm going to the Final Four. So we're just going to like go all out. And I feel so good about this team. We'll talk about that more in a little bit, but I feel very, very good. Where are your college basketball thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just excited for all the conference tournaments coming up. All these schools that you've barely heard of just playing for their lives. I love the small conferences where they aren't playing at a big neutral site. They're just playing at the 1 seed's home arena or whatever. And
Yeah.
it's just this tiny little arena, just packed full, people going nuts. That atmosphere is like that beats any of the March Madness tournament game atmospheres as far as if you were gonna be there, that's just electric.
It's always fun when you get one of those Cinderella teams or a team like even if they're not necessarily Cinderella, but a smaller conference team. And then you see in March Madness, the first weekend they're playing the game, and you always see the comparison when they're like playing Duke, and it's like, well, this is where Duke plays, and this is where like St. Mary's School of the Blind plays, and like this is where this is the gym they're playing in, and it's always crazy that the smaller conference, obviously they play in a gym that holds like 4,000 people, and then you have Duke that can hold 15,000 people or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's cool too.
Yeah.
What do you think about? So I also really enjoy conference championship or the conference tournament week or weekend, if you will. Um, what do you think is more meaningful, winning your conference in the regular season or winning the conference tournament?
Uh, I think it's got to be the conference tournament. I
Really interesting.
yeah, I guess I think the biggest factor is that it it's the it's the championship that counts for something. It's the auto bid.
Sure. Yeah.
It's like it's the playoffs of your conference. So I mean, I get it both ways because as a player, when you're going through your conference schedule, playing everybody in your conference, and you come out with the best record, yeah, you can feel really good about that and like, yeah, we were the best team in our conference. But just like in the sports world, championships aren't won in the regular season. They're won
Right.
in a bracket in the
Sure.
playoffs. So that's kind of my take on it. What about you? You more regular season championship?
I also see it both ways. I think for it really depends on the team actually, which is it's a weird answer, but I think if you look at a team like Duke, you look at a team like Michigan, Florida, those kind of teams that are, for sure in the tournament. Two of those three teams I mentioned are for sure almost certainly a one seed. Um, I think for those teams, it doesn't matter. I think winning the regular season is good because you know what? If Michigan loses to Michigan State or whoever in the finals or the semifinals, it really means nothing different to their season. They're still going to probably be a one seed, and they, winning the tournament really didn't do a whole lot for them. Um, Now, on the other side of that, you look at a team like the Badgers, or you look at a team like if you go worse than that and look at like Minnesota. Okay, if Minnesota gets hot and they win the tournament, well, that matters a lot more than the regular season because they just stole a bid for the bracket. So
Yep.
I think when it really, really matters is a team like that is a kind of a bubble team, might be on the fence for them. Yeah, the tournament matters a lot more than the regular season. But I think for your like powerhouses, the regular season might matter a little bit more.
Yeah, you're kind of convinced me there that it really does depend on the team because yeah,
Yeah.
you get in the tournament like the SEC championship and it's like the 1 and 2 seed. They play the
Yeah, who
game.
cares?
Team wins, the
Yeah,
team loses. They both just kind of like, okay, let's go see if we're a 1 or a 2 seed or a 3 seed. Like that.
right.
It doesn't have the same feel to it. Where yeah, if you get a team in there that's playing for their lives, or even yeah, a team that's going to be a 5 through 8 seed, something like that, that makes a little run and beats a couple teams ahead of them, then it's got a lot more juice to it.
Right.
But if you get
And
outside
in
of the multi-bid conferences, then
there it is.
then
Yeah.
it's everything. It's
Then it's everything
the
because
best.
you could have you have the championship game and it's like, hey, whoever wins is in and whoever loses is out. So yeah, that's for sure. When you get out of the multi-bid conferences, you're for sure you're playing for your life. Then the tournament matters a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. For those teams, March Madness starts right now in the first round of their
Yeah.
conference tournament.
Yeah.
It's 10 straight games of winner go home for the season.
When you go home. Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's fun. One another thing everyone always likes to keep an eye on the bubble. Who's going to be in, who's going to be out. And this I've got it pulled up here right now. Looking at it right now on ESPN, Joel Lenardi, his bracketology page, he's got Indiana as a last four in team, and then he's got Ohio State as a first four out. Those teams play each other this week for the last game of the regular season. So that might be must-watch basketball. I honestly haven't watched that much college basketball, but it's March. It's time to dial in here, so I might have to find my way into watching that game.
That'll be a deciding game most likely, unless whoever wins gets bounced in the conference tournament right away. But I think whoever wins that game, as long as they win one game in the tournament, in the conference tournament, they should be in. So that's a massive game for sure for those two teams because that could easily flip.
Mm-hmm. Other things, I just looking at it right now, he's projecting the SEC to get 11 teams in, Big 10 getting 9, ACC and Big 12 getting 8, and then the Big East and West Coast getting 3, and the Mountain West getting 2. So it's always fun to see which conference gets the most teams, and then it feels like a lot of times the conference that gets the most teams in the tournament, they like 2/3 of their teams lose in the first round, and it's like, we thought you were so good, and now you just couldn't beat anyone. So that's always a fun part of it to watch too.
The SEC, they're good. They'll probably have the most teams as projected there, but it's always fun to, especially as a Big Ten fan, it's always fun to root against the SEC and watch them lose. And
Yep.
Usually in the first weekend, they just start kind of falling here and there. And I'll say the last several years, the Big Ten's done really, really well in the first weekend. And this year, I mean, it feels like it'll be the same way. It feels like the Big Ten's got some teams that could go Elite Eight, so
Hmm.
at Final Four even. So feels like a good year for the Big Ten.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. It I remember prior to the last few years, I remember thinking, oh, the Big Ten always gets 7, 8 teams in there, and then they all lose right away. And like, come
Yeah,
on, what are we doing? But yeah, lately it's been the opposite. They've been really good. So hopefully they keep it going, and we'll go for depending on the seeding, a Badgers versus Wolverines Elite Eight matchup. Hopefully.
man, would that be fun? That would be fun. That yeah. You never know in March. You never know. You
Hmm.
never know where people are going to get seated to, and the committee does a good job of making sure conference teams don't play each other in that first weekend or can't see each other till the either 16 or 8. So yeah, who knows? It'd be great to have all Big 10 teams in the Elite 8 or in the Sweet 16. So um that would be huge. Um who are your favorites? Who do you like?
Um, I mean it's gonna be a lot of the favorites, but
Sure.
I'll try to give a take outside of just these teams are the best. Florida has been on a roll lately. They've been steamrolling everyone. Right now, they just bumped up to be a projected 2 seed right now. Um, they they are looking like the real deal right now. And a lot of times in March, it comes down to who's playing the best ball at the end of February, carrying it right into March. So they're one to really look out for. Um, Otherwise, I mean, yeah, I really like Duke and Michigan. A rematch of them in the championship would be great. Um, who are you looking at as your favorites?
There's a couple teams I like. I also think Florida's been playing really well. I like Arizona. And I like UConn. Those are three teams that have been playing well. Obviously, I like Michigan and Duke. Um, Arizona, Florida, and UConn are teams that I think people are looking fairly heavily at your Dukes, your Michigans, um, um, your Houston's, your teams like Iowa State, right? People are looking more heavily at those teams. Um, but I think Arizona is a really good team out of the 1 seeds right now. I think Florida, as you said, has been playing really well. So is UConn. So I like those teams. Team I don't like out of those teams is Houston. I think they've been struggling a lot lately. They've played um, well yesterday, I believe, but prior to that, they had lost 3 in a row. They just seem like a team that's getting cold at the wrong time. To your point of teams that are playing well going into March usually have some success, and Houston seems to be on the other side of that. Michigan State's heating up. I don't think they're going to win it, but they've been heating up. They've gotten some big wins in the last week as well. So I think there's a lot of teams at the front of that list, the 1 and 2 seeds that are gonna make some noise. Um, Going into the Michigan Duke game, I think that would be a really, really, really good rematch. Having that in the finals would be outstanding. Um, that game would be not this past Saturday, but last Saturday. So like 10 days ago, 10 days ago. I think that's the worst game actually this season that Michigan's played. I think they played terrible in that game. There were a couple just kind of role players for that on that game that didn't perform like they had been all season. And I mean, they still lost that game by 5 or 6 points. So, you know, the thing about Michigan is their defense is really, really, really good. And it was tough to tell during that, going into that game, if their defense was, hey, we just, played a bunch of nobodies and things like that, or even in the good games that they played, it was really tough to tell if that's how good their defense actually was. And the fact that they shut Duke down was good. Shortly after that, they had the Minnesota. I believe it was Minnesota they played, and they came out really slow. Minnesota was beating them at one point, and I was worried because I thought the Duke loss might have rattled them a little bit, but they picked it up and then they beat Illinois very handily on this last weekend. So I think they're the best team, if not second best team with Duke. I think those two teams are going to be in the finals. Hopefully, I think that'll be a great game for just people to watch. And it was a great game the first time around, and I think Michigan can win it next time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I kind of feel like this year could be one that isn't necessarily a chalky bracket, but we get a lot of teams out of the top maybe 12, 16 teams. Those are the teams that are making the Elite Eight, more so than other years. I kind of feels like a year where maybe less large upsets and worse teams make big runs. But it's so hard to predict, so I could be completely
It's
wrong
hard
there.
to predict, but I think overall, I feel like the first weekend, it's fun to see some upsets, right? You want to see some upsets week one, Thursday, Friday in the first round, and even into the round of 32, you like to see some upsets. By the time we get to the Sweet 16, for sure the Elite Eight, I want to see good basketball, right? If we're in the Elite Eight, I want to see good basketball. I want to see the good teams going at it. And in the Final Four, I like seeing 1 and 2 seeds, or, you need to throw some 3 seeds in there, but I like seeing good basketball at that point. The upsets are fun when you have, a 14 seed beat a 3 seed, 15 beat a 2, something like that. But you don't want them all to be that way, because then by the time you get to the Elite Eight, you're really not watching great basketball. And that's what I like, when it gets down to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I either want to see the best teams or one of the best players that's not on as good of a team that's just carrying his team through the entire tournament.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fun too. Give me like a Jimmer Fredette type of run.
Yeah. That's always what you're looking for towards the end. You don't want to see so many of the Cinderella stories go that far, and it's cool. It's nice. It's good exposure for people, and especially now with the transfer portal, like it's really good exposure for these guys. So I like that part of it too.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of an interesting situation because you go on this big run and you got these players beating the guys at Duke. Well, guess what? All those players about to transfer for $1 million to go play for Duke next year or whatever.
Right.
So you lose your whole roster, but now all of a sudden you're the most attractive of the teams in your playing level.
Yep.
So, yeah, the whole transfer portal makes it, I'm sure, really difficult and pretty stressful on the coaching staffs and the people managing.
Yeah, I mean, you just get a lot of
teams.
You just get a lot of turnover in the rosters, and that's something that you're going to have to adjust to. And, you got players leaving to go to the NBA and things like that too. So it's always kind of revolving.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, definitely a different layer.
Yeah. All right, I guess. Do you want to get into our lock of the week then and then wrap things up?
Yeah, absolutely. Who you got?
So I'm pre-betting this. The odds are not available yet, but
Okay.
by the time we do our next podcast, we'll be past Selection Sunday already, through all the conference tournaments. I am taking at the start of the MAC tournament. Give me the Akron Zips to win the MAC. That is Miami.
Zips.
That is Miami, Ohio's conference. 29-0 Miami, Ohio. Give me Akron to upset them. So I got a few things here. So Miami, they've had quite a few close calls, and their strength of schedule is 200 something. So they're not They're not playing. Obviously, neither is Akron. Their strength schedule is not going to be much different, anyways.
Sure.
But with the amount of close calls they're having, they're due for a loss. I don't think they're going to make it into the March Madness tournament undefeated. And then the next question is, if they lose, are they getting an at-large bid? The MAC has not had an at-large bid team make it since 1999, but also no eligible team with less than 4 losses has ever not made the tournament. The article I was reading before this said they were on the fence that Miami has more work to do. They might not make it if they don't win their conference. So that could be a fun one to watch. I think Akron's a really good team too, by the way. They only have 1 conference loss. I think they have 3 or 4 losses on the season. So they're a good team. They played Miami once and they lost by 3, so they were right there with them.
So that's their conference loss then.
Yep, that's their 1 conference loss.
Okay.
And then they lost to Purdue, and then I think Troy and someone else, kind of mediocre team. But yeah, so assuming their odds are like plus 200 or more, assuming Miami, Ohio is going to be the overwhelming favorite, being undefeated.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Give me Akron to take them down
Akron
in the conference tournament championship.
I like it. I had notes on here actually on Miami also, Miami, Ohio. They are. I noted the close games. They've had a lot of close calls. They won at the buzzer this last weekend, 69-67 to stay undefeated. I don't think they make it if they lose. I don't think if they lose their conference tournament, I don't think they make it, and that's going to really suck because you know what? Yeah. There's going to be it's really tough. It's really tough to win all your games. I don't care who you're playing. I think I said it last week too. I don't care who you're playing. It is really hard to win every game, and I get it if they get to the championship and lose, they won't have won every game. But I just think to lose 1 or 2 games in a season, you deserve to be in. You just deserve to be in. And so, yeah, I don't know what I'm rooting for because you know I don't want to say I've watched, but I've seen some Akron scores and things like that, and they are playing well. They are a good team. So I don't think they deserve to make it also if they win their conference tournament. But man, I mean, if Miami, Ohio loses, I think they should still make it. I don't think they're going to, but I think they should.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal to have to be perfect. I guess they wouldn't need to be perfect, but they need to be perfect in the conference tournament is what I think is going to happen. But then at the same time, as if you're trying to make a bracket and you're looking at Miami, Ohio, and who they've beaten and how the close games they've had, do you really think they're better than Indiana or Ohio State?
Yeah.
Like that's kind of the decision you have to try to make.
Yeah, that's a tough.
It's almost an impossible decision because it's just comparing apples to not even oranges, something completely different. It's just
it's tough like that, and you see, like you said, the MAC has never had a at-large bid. It's tough because you look at teams then like, Indiana, Ohio State. Well, they've played hard teams. I mean, look at the Big Ten. I mean, I think majority of the bubble Big Ten teams should make it because look who they're playing all year. But, obviously that's not the case. But then you make an argument that, okay, an Ohio State team that's lost even 12, 13 games is probably better than an undefeated or a 1 or 2 loss Miami, Ohio team. So, the conference strength does come into play there. So it'll be interesting to see, like you said, that'll be good basketball to watch because there'll be storylines there for sure, especially if Miami, Ohio loses.
Yeah. And then, I guess what people will tell them is don't lose your conference tournament. Just go win it.
Right.
If you're really that good, just go win your conference tournament against these other bad teams. So
Yeah. Yep. For sure. For sure.
So what do you have
All
for a
right.
lock for us?
Last time, by the way, both of us were horribly wrong about the Michigan Duke game.
Yep.
Michigan did not win the game, and the game did not go over and was very under. So I'm 2-3 now, so I got to get back to 500. I'm going more chalk this week, I guess. I am taking on Saturday. The line also is not out for this, so the odds are not out yet, but I'm taking Purdue money line over the Badgers on Saturday. Similar records, Purdue 22-7, the Badgers 20-9. I think Purdue is a lot bigger. They're playing a lot better. Both teams have some bad losses, but I think the Badgers are going to struggle in this game. I think Purdue's going to have their number. I will say the thing for the Badgers is they've got to just shoot hot. If they are shooting hot, it's hard to beat them. I mean, they beat Michigan because they couldn't miss. They just didn't miss when they were shooting, and that'll be what it takes for the Badgers to win. I think not only this game, I think in March Madness as well. I think they're going to have to be one of those like lights out shooting teams, and if they're hot and get hot, it's hard to beat them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
yeah, and it's at Purdue as well. That's a really tough place to play. So
yeah,
I can't fight you too much on that one. That seems like a tall task for Wisconsin to go in there and win. So
yeah.
I won't ride with it because I gotta have hope for the Badgers, but it's probably a good call.
Fair enough. Well, we've got our next episode here. We'll have a release bracket. And we'll be able to spend a lot of time next time. College basketball debrief in each game. We'll have obviously 32 games in the first weekend or first 2 days, Thursday, Friday. And I think we'll each go through a bracket next time and see who we got winning it and who we got winning certain games. And should be a fun one. We can debrief a little bit of that and talk about who's in, who's out, last 4 in, first 4 out, and see if they got the bubble correct.
Yeah, that's the greatest time of the year, like we were saying. Once you get that bracket, it's just a mad scramble of picking those teams. We'll get our brackets done quick so we can share them with you guys before the tournament starts. And should be a great episode. So thanks everyone for tuning in, and have a good March. Enjoy those conference tournaments, and we will see you in the next episode.